and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
A 13-4 run over the last 3.5 minutes by Seton Hall. They trail it by a point and applying the pressure. Snyder, who still is looking for his first point in this game, bringing the ball up now for the Blue Devils, who have Ferry, Kubek, Buckley, and Henderson, number 3. They apparently have lost Brickey for perhaps the rest of the afternoon after suffering that leg injury in the first half. He tried here in the second half and couldn't go. Seton Hall digging back in. Henderson squeezing the trigger. And now the Hall can take the lead. Green on the bounce pass to Cooper. And it goes over.
Fred, you can see that Seton Hall has taken Duke out of their offense completely.
The basket counts. Seton Hall leads. Foul against Seton Hall. It's 50-49.
Well, they battled back 19 points from being down by 18 at one point. Here's the fast break coming out. Good job by Cooper taking it right to the hoop. Kubek's waiting for him. One of the things Duke could do right here against this particular press is let somebody other than Danny Ferry take the ball out of bounds so that he could be the recipient of the pass by throwing over the head of a guy like Green, who's much smaller.
The first lead by Seton Hall in the game. Ferry can't get it back. Ramos yanks it away, and he is fouled by Buckley.
As much as Mike Krzyzewski doesn't want to do it this early, I think he's got to come back with Christian Laettner to get himself another score in the game. Buckley not going to score. Kubek not going to score. Snyder hasn't shown that he can, and Henderson having the cold hand. Great comeback by Seton Hall.
In low to Ramos.
Travel!
And he turned it over.
Ramos can't believe it because he's normally pretty steady on the inside. But here's an example. See, Danny Ferry's taking the ball out of bounds. They could throw over him.
Bounce pass by Snyder is a beauty, and Henderson finishes. 13 for the game with Laettner watching. Duke leading now 51-50. 13-20 in regulation. Punch in. Ferry tries to save it. Throws deep, and Ramos off his hand. Give it up. Quinn Snyder scores off the turnover.
Boy, Danny Ferry made the great play by throwing it towards his end of the court, therefore not giving Seton Hall a chance to capitalize.
Ramos wants it low. Ferry to help out. Stayed with it defensively. Walker's got it back. Cleans up. That's his strength. Marvelous offensive rebounder.
Now, Gaze is not getting enough credit for his defense in this game. He's shutting Henderson down pretty well.
Gaze without a lot of speed. Great position defender. Ferry will get this one to fall. That's 28 points for Ferry with Mickey Krzyzewski watching the Duke Blue Devils here from the Kingdome this afternoon. Gaze hoists a 3 from down under.
Henderson tried to help out. Gaze too dangerous a shooter to allow to go inside. You turn your back and he'll drill it.
Duke 55, Seton Hall 55. Here's Snyder. His 3 still not there. And there's a push on the inside against Duke. Henderson's second.
Another thing I've noticed the last time or two down the floor, Danny Ferry very, very tired. He has not come out of this game yet. You can see him going over on the sidelines. He needs a blow.
For Duke, Christian Laettner and John Smith return to the lineup.
Laettner and Smith both check back in. Avent back for Seton Hall. Cooper is on the floor. France Volsey, number 30. Also there, great pass to Avent.
Back screen beautifully set by Gaze.
Seton Hall leading it by 2. They punch to Ferry, and great defense on the inside. Gaze off the spin, gets it to Avent again. It's a 4-point lead by the Pirates.
And here you can see Volsey, who is very rested, playing Danny Ferry, giving him all kinds of trouble.
Laettner.
Basket by number 32.
Back to 2. Inside to Cooper. 61-57. Seton Hall leading Duke. Ferry's outside. Henderson short. Gaze was there again defensively. Green tries to save it and stepped out of bounds.
What a brilliant play by Green, though. If he throws the ball back in, he knew that there's a chance Duke could get it right under their own basket. Better off taking it out with him.
P.J. Carlissimo's team on a tear. Seton Hall has hit 12 of its last 14 shots, and Snyder got it up high on the glass and couldn't get it to fall. Drawing the foul this time. That's Volsey's second.
Foul is charged to number 30, Franz Volsey, his second, team's third.
Quinn Snyder had his second opportunity. He had to put back a relatively easy one. Didn't hit either.
Ferry's 3. Off to the side. Seton Hall comes back.
Duke completely out of their offensive pattern right now, trying to do it all one-on-one.
Now they're down by 6. We've got a timeout called by the Blue Devils.
What do you have?
Give me 2 pizza pasta, chili dog.
Excuse me. Gus.
1 minute.
Sorry.
Give me 2 pizza pasta, chili dog, a large.
Hey, Lord.
Gus, I told you, to be hot dog kings, we need lots of Bud Light. Not full blood?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Now what do you think?
It's beautiful.
Because everything else is just a light.
Hey, what about my pizza pasta? After 6 hours of school, I had enough for the day. I hit the radio dial.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system. Now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
The Honda Lawnmower. It was first with a convenient blade brake clutch, with an automotive-type shaft drive, with an easy-starting overhead valve engine. It's the first mower good enough to be a Honda.
Truckers, start your engines. Mazda, 2.6 liter, 121 horsepower. Toyota, 3 liter, 150 horsepower. Nissan, 3 liter, 145 horsepower. Chevrolet, 4.3 liter, 160 horsepower. S10, the most powerful compact pickup of the group. More power to get the job done.
10 minutes remaining, and Krzyzewski is down to only 1 timeout. Carlissimo with 2. Fouls to give. Seton Hall with 4. Duke only 1. In case of a held ball, it'll go over to the Blue Devils. This half, Duke is shooting 41%, and Seton Hall has elevated its game. 78%. The Pirates are shooting here against the Blue Devils. And the struggle continues. They get it in, or at least try, and Ferry forced out to the perimeter. Nothing working down on the inside. Now they hit Laettner. He goes hard and drew the foul.
This is a good move by Mike Krzyzewski. He's got to figure out that second score. It may be Laettner because he hasn't been able to get it on the perimeter. And what also will help by going to Laettner is it keeps that weak side defender from double teaming Danny Ferry. But you got to like PJ's situation right now because he's being able to rest both Morton and Walker on the sidelines.
Watching from the sideline, several of the Michigan Wolverines. They'll be out here next against Illinois. Walker returning. He's played a solid game here this afternoon. And sitting down with the 3 fouls, Volsey.
Nice piece of substitution by P.J. Carlissimo. All he needs is a couple of minutes out of those subs. He's much more rested with his key people than is Duke.
63-59. Walker takes Duke down in low, and then the tap back. And that was Avent again.
Number 32, Anthony Avent.
Good help by Cooper on Ferry.
Davis, Kubek at the perimeter, in low to Laettner, and the freshman starting to pick up the load. That's 13 points. It's a 4-point lead by Seton Hall. 9.5 minutes to go in regulation. Green continues on in. Laettner was there, and he is fouled out of the game.
Oh, that was
I thought he had the ball.
Yeah, right on top of it. And this really causes problems for Mike Krzyzewski, because just when he was getting the secondary score, he loses him on foul. Watch this play right here. I thought he had all ball on this one. All ball. And Christian Laettner felt likewise.
Smith.
For Duke, number 33, John
Off
Smith,
the Duke
replaces
bench.
Christian Laettner.
Now they have 4 perimeter players and Ferry on the floor.
For Seton Hall, Gerald Green shooting 2.
Green has been the one man that's been the difference as far as getting Seton Hall back into their offense. Even when they were behind, he stayed with it.
Well, he was one of the big differences in PJ's recruiting, too, in that Riverside Church League, which has about 15 or 16 graduates now playing in the NBA. When he was able to convince this young man to come to Seton Hall, and then he was able to get Morton and Walker to join him. And he had coached down in Puerto Rico. He knew about Ramos. Gaze had lit up the Big East All-Star team, so he was able to recruit him for a year. Now it's Snyder hoisting a 3 in and out. Walker with the rebound, and Seton Hall is solidly in command of this game. It is 67-61, and you can feel it.
Snyder without a field goal.
Gaze down under again.
Well, he can shoot that three-pointer without his legs being in good position, which is hard to do. Duke really panicked right now. You can see it in their eyes.
Snyder again, and this time he finds the range from three-point land. 5 points total, all 5 in the second half, keeping Duke within 6 points. It'll be Gaze again.
Oh!
Well, they don't have Larry Bird in Australia, but Gaze will do down there, won't he?
Remember a name like Oscar, Brent? That's what those guys can do from the outside to get that three-point swing going.
Avent fouling Ferry. Avent's first.
Gaze has done the job all year long from the outside as a perimeter shooter, but today I think he's done a great job defensively as well.
Bricky will try it again.
And John Smith.
Injured his leg early in the game. Stayed in, was forced out, finished a half on the bench as Ramos checks back in for Seton Hall. Green is also out, along with Avent.
Again, pulling all the right buttons is P.J. Carlesimo. He takes Green out of the game at a time when if he can get 3 minutes out of Pookie Wigington, allows Green to come back fresh for the stretch run.
All 5-4 of Pookie Wigington bringing the ball up now. He was some player in the J.C. League in California. He's had some problems with a knee. Gets it back from Ramos. Snyder not so used to looking down defensively.
I think that Ramos can score on John Smith on the inside.
Smith trying to stay with it. Ramos and Wigington are there defensively. Smith waits for help. And they hit Henderson on a flash. And Gaze was there, off into Wigington's hands. 73-65. Seton Hall, 7.5 minutes left in regulation.
Gaze just doing the job on Henderson. Henderson cannot get off the shot down inside. Even though he's an outstanding leaper, Gaze's timing has been perfect on the defensive end.
Snyder is called for the moving foul, his fourth.
Now there's a case where you know Wigginton is not going to be a threat to score that far out. Quinn Snyder just has to play him solid. No reason to try to draw the charge out there.
Number 22, Greg Kubek, replaces Quinn Snyder.
A good team for Seton Hall to press right now with Snyder out of the game. Smallest player in Division I basketball is Wigginton.
On the floor for the Blue Devils, Ricky, Henderson, Ferry, Smith, and Kubek. Cooper gets it back into Wigginton's hands.
Gage was ready, wasn't he?
He sure was. He was thinking about it.
Illegal screen on Cooper.
His third personal.
Foul is charged to number 31, Michael Cooper, his third personal foul, team's sixth.
(73-65). Seton Hall leading.
Now Henderson has a much smaller man on him. See if he tries to go over Wigginton.
Smith on the inside. It's blocked. Out of bounds, Duke ball.
I think Duke would be smart to get Henderson down in low with Wigginton. He can shoot over him.
Henderson 4 of 15 here this afternoon.
Just keep your hands off each other.
Not going to have a chance because here comes Green in. P.J. Carlesmo right on top of that move.
Kubek
got hit on the arm. No call.
Seton Hall's ball.
Special setup play now. High double post. You notice Seton Hall is bringing their offense out a little higher.
And a foul against Henderson.
This is not a delay game, but it brings the defense out higher, and you're going to get some backdoor cuts from Seton Hall right now.
Quinn Snyder, number 14, returns to the lineup, replacing Greg
Snyder returns, and Kubek sits down.
And Brent, we talked about Duke being to the Final Four 7 times. First time they were there was 64. Went up against John Wooden in 64 when Wooden won his first national championship, and it followed. They went 63, 64, 66, 78, 86, 88, and 89. They could be the bridesmaid of all time. And a good free throw shooting team is Seton Hall.
Gage sits down to a round of applause.
Well, the MVP of the West Regional had an outstanding game today, and give him some accolades for the defensive work he did on Henderson.
Seton Hall is now 14 of 16 from that free throw line.
You get a situation where the clock is now becoming Duke's opponent, where they've got to be thinking 3.
Ferry.
There's a push by Smith, not called.
Seton Hall getting another break.
Danny Ferry will not be able to post up down low and get those moves because Seton Hall is bringing people from the weak side over to stop that play.
We have had a 28-point swing in this game, from 18 down to 10 up by Seton Hall. One of the more impressive comebacks in the history of the Final Four. Where you look like you're dead in the water. Seton Hall pulled themselves together and has made a remarkable run in this game.
Well, I think the key was Bricky going down. Duke was then without a scorer, and the only way they stayed in the game was a sensational first half by Ferry. Good spacing now by Seton Hall, bringing that offense out higher. They're going to get an easy one. There it is.
Almost right there.
What's happening is Duke trying to overplay, and there's a lot of space underneath the basket.
Snyder's 3. 2
in a row for Quinn Snyder.
kind of firepower they're going to need here. It's 77-68. Just inside of 5.5 minutes to work with. Gaze
nice
to return
move.
soon as Morton got it inside to Ramos again, and he'll stay with it.
Ricky showing a lot of courage playing out here on that one leg, but just nowhere near the quick Ricky we know of.
Knocked away. They've stripped it.
And again, weak side defense. That offensive maneuver is not going to be there.
Ferry jumping out commits the personal, his second.
Foul is charged to number 35, Danny Ferry, his second personal foul. For Duke, number 22, Greg Kubek. Number 30,
Gaze's father is the John Wooden of Australia. He is the gentleman there with the gray hair on the right. His name is Lindsay Gaze. He coaches a team down in Australia, and it's a team without a star. And that's his son. He badly wants this season to end so he can get his son back home down under. This has been a tremendous learning experience for Andrew Gaze. He was talking about it yesterday, given an opportunity to play 1 year in the United States.
And Brent, being 24 years of age, I don't even think Seton Hall will be applying for him to go ahead and get that other year. He still would have the opportunity to apply for another year of eligibility, but it looks like he is going to go back to Australia and continue to play for their national team.
You folks down in Australia should know that his nickname is Jacks, as in Hungry Jacks. For those of you in the U.S., that's the McDonald's of Australia. Here's Ferry gliding in, missing, rebound, Ramos. And Duke battles to save it, but they have stepped out of bounds at the end line. I believe that's Davis who went flying in there. Yes, it is.
With this lead, PJ's going to want to start using that clock just a little bit.
Does it sound funny to anybody else to say Seton Hall is going to play for a national championship? What a tremendous story this is, and they're now within 4 minutes and 25 seconds of moving to Monday night. And they did it the old-fashioned way here this afternoon. Nothing but hard work. There wasn't anything easy about what this team has accomplished here today. Morton.
This team has had a great basketball tradition in the past with the Wanzers and the Bobby Davies, some of the great guard play of all time. Honey Russell, the great club that they took and won the NIT championship with. Back in those days, that was considered the equivalent, if not even more than the NCAA.
Now, even though they play their home games in the Big East and the Meadowlands, the school is not located in a swamp, folks. Seton Hall is located in South Orange, New Jersey. That's a suburb of Newark. It was created in 1856, and it was named after the first American saint, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And she's got to be very proud what the Pirates are accomplishing here this afternoon. Ramos battling for that rebound. You're not going to get it away from him.
They've got 10 seconds to get it up over. They are now very close, almost. They have to get the ball over half court here. It's at 35. It should be Duke's ball because it's been 10 seconds. They never got it over half court. We're going to send a man along. Danny Ferry back here. Safety. They've got to get it over half court.
Green gets it up.
Too quick for Kubek. Again, watch where Seton Hall sets up. Everybody above that foul line looking for the spacing down inside.
Blocking foul on Snyder, and Snyder is gone.
Foul is charged.
We remember that scene when he fouled out the Georgetown game and pulled everybody over together, and part of his conversation was win one for me, but At this point, Brent, I don't think that's a possibility with just 3:39 to go. And with a club that Duke has on the floor against the Morton and Green backcourt, it'd be very difficult to press.
Number 23, John Morton, shooting.
Somewhere, there are a couple of very embarrassed former members of the Student Senate who once called for P.J. Carlissimo's scalp.
Once called, it was less than 2 seasons ago. We're talking about midway through last season, where P.J. then eventually led them to their first NCAA bid, and of course this year they have them in the final and championship game.
85-68. Seton Hall leading. They were down by 18 in the first half. Smith is fouled. Very disappointed parents there. That's Quinn Snyder's father in the glasses and his mother right next to him. The young man who had a great high school career. He's a tremendous student at Duke. His grade point average is about 3.3. Those are numbers I can't identify with. I'm sure some of the audience can.
He's Danny Ferry's roommate. They've had excellent careers. 3 Final Fours. But not one time are they going to come home with that championship.
This will probably be the most disappointing of the failures. You lead it by 18 in the first half, and you've got everything going your way, and suddenly the plug was pulled for Mike Krzyzewski.
Well, I really think that Bricky not being available took away one of the big weapons that Mike Krzyzewski would have to use. Just could not get any more scoring. And that's not to make an excuse for Duke, because Seton Hall has played a great game, particularly on the defensive end of the floor.
Well, for the first 8 minutes, they played a horrible game. Shooting, if you will. They couldn't bury anything, and then they've turned it around. That great interior defense, and whoever they draw on Monday night, best be ready.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Stop.
Well, it's a team that we all talked about with basically 5 seniors when you consider Gaze's great international experience. So it's a club that even down 18 knows that they've been there before. They've played against great competition, have not lost a game against a team outside the Big East all this year. Started off the season winning the Great Alaskan Shootout. Club that's beaten Georgetown 3 times in the last 2 years.
And you know what makes them happier than anything in the world? They won't have to play Syracuse on Monday night. Syracuse is their Achilles heel, folks. They haven't beaten the Orangemen in the Big East since 1981, and now the chant begins. Seton Hall.
Brent, you know, when you start talking about streaks this team out, I think one of the great one is this year they beat St. John's over at St. John's the first time since 1913. I mean, that's a streak.
This team has captured the imagination of the New York metropolitan area the last couple of weeks with their great play. Ferry on a spinner. Smith will try to come back, knocked away, and there on the end line, he was out of bounds. Duke's ball.
Again, Danny Ferry trying to use that reverse dribble, only when he beats his man, he runs right into the weak side defense, making the shot very tough.
Bolsey fouled. This is what has happened down the stretch in terms of field goals allowed by this defense. Why we've been raving about it all day long. Now, here this afternoon against Duke. Only 2 field goals in the last 7 minutes.
The other thing that's impressive is that they do it by taking a team out of their offense completely. You notice that Duke, midway through this second half, started to go completely one-on-one. It was the only way they could get a shot off.
Ferry hoists a 3 in, and he has scored 32 points in what could be his last college basketball game.
That reminded me of the shot that Sean Elliott hit to beat Duke in the Meadowlands this year.
Reach-in foul by Davis on Morton. 2:23. So from the Kingdome in Seattle, this is game 1 of the Final Four. Seton Hall headed toward Monday night in the national championship, where they will take on the winner of that friendly little neighborhood war between Michigan and Illinois coming up next.
You said friendly?
Yeah, Illinois has beaten the Wolverines rather handily twice this year, but it may not matter here this afternoon if Glenn Rice continues to scorch the net the way he did coming out of that southeastern region. That'll be the second game of the national final.
You know, Brennan, in the great accomplishment by Dave Gavitt and what he's done in putting together this Big East, Seton Hall becomes the 6th team in that league in the 10-year history to make it to the Final Four. A great balance from top to bottom.
Kubek. Ferry stays with it, pulls his way around, and this time Smith coming up, and the foul is called on Volsey. That's his 4th.
See the great effort by Danny Ferry trying to do everything he can to stay in this game, but I think they've known for a good 5 or 6 minutes here that this game was going to Seton Hall. Great career.
For you, John Smith shoots 2.
Lead by 18 and now trail by 17. They were hit by a steamroller here this afternoon.
Ferry, the only player in ACC conference history which has got a storied past with 2,000 points, over 900 rebounds, 450 assists. He's had a great career and put on an All-American performance here today, but they didn't get any help from scoring from anybody else. Somebody wide open, Gaze, but nobody sees him yet. There he is.
A little frosting inside the 2-minute mark. They'll bring down the final seconds on the clock, and Seton Hall will head toward Monday night. Ferry, though, still battling away as the foul is called on Morton. In the Danny Ferry era at Duke, one of only 4 players to have his number retired. The 3rd time he's been in the Final Four in 4 years. Now, keep in mind that in each of those appearances, his last loss was to the team that won the national championship. They were beaten in that final game as a freshman by Louisville. Then the next year, they were picked off by Indiana, and the Hoosiers won the national championship. A year ago, Mike Krzyzewski lost to Kansas. So what a great omen that might be for Seton Hall. Foul goes against Duke. Kubek.
I talked about the history of Seton Hall basketball, the great Honey Russell team. That club that he had was undefeated and #1 ranked in the nation until they lost 2 straight games. Opted to go to the NIT instead of the NCAA. They won the NIT championship. Indiana that year won the NCAA championship. It'd be hard to believe now that a vote would be cast by players to say, let's play in the NIT instead, huh? Avan, who had a great game off the bench again. And that man who just reached over to cheer, P.J. Carlissimo, is having some tournament as a coach. He is pulling all the right wires.
And he pulls them himself. He's not a board of directors coach. He kneels down in front of that bench, and he understands what's happening every minute. Ferry gets it back. Continuing to battle away in a lost cause. Taps one in. That's why he still has a great basketball future ahead of him. And a timeout has been called here by Seton Hall. 1:15 to go. Ramos, the veteran, says, let's talk about how we're going to run this clock out.
Imagine a game with over 70 million prizes, enough for 1 out of 3 people to win. Introducing Scrabble at McDonald's. You can win hot, tasty fries, a cool $1 million, or spell Disney, like this guy, and win a trip to Disneyland for 4. And just wait till you see the new Splash Mountain. Now that's fun. Transportation included on Delta. What are you waiting for? Play Scrabble at McDonald's. In a word, you can win.
I love this game. I love to win, and I have, in college and in the pros. So I've had some experience celebrating. And you know, the way you celebrate says as much about you as the winning does. So do it right. Be responsible. Take care of yourself and your friends. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call us, 1-800-222-0400.
Seton Hall down by 18 in the first half, moving toward Monday night and the national championship game. Blazing away at 75% in the second half. Hayes was open there, but they want to run down the clock a little bit, so they'll take a few more seconds off of it.
Tough to press 5 seniors. All of which can catch the ball very nicely. These are fellows that when they were freshmen, they were the doormats of the Big East League, so they know what it's been like to be down.
Hayes is 3.
He's been waiting there, Brent, for what seemed like half a lifetime.
Davis steps inside Gaze and was fouled by him with 22 seconds to go.
Foul is charged to number 10, Andrew Gaze, his second personal.
And now they'll clear the bench. A photo to take back home down under. We'll get another opportunity to broadcast to Australia live on Monday night.
Well, what do you think? They'd rather watch Greg Norman win the Masters, Gaze hit a 3-pointer, or return the America's Cup? Which one do you think they'd watch?
I'd rather have somebody come along and win Wimbledon again.
Wimbledon?
Just kidding.
Well, at least this is a first for them. They're moving in on another sport. They've won Wimbledon before. That went off Henderson's foot. Mike Krzyzewski really throws the ball away. It's been a long afternoon, at least since about that 10-minute mark in that first half.
Isn't that great for some of these subs who don't see much playing time to say that they got into a Final Four, that we were out there on the floor like Trevor Crowley. There he is breaking deep, and they hit him on a pass. Oh, would he love to have a field goal, but Duke would not give it to him that easily as Crawford Palmer, the freshman from Arlington, knocked it away. Hasn't quit coaching over there on the far side.
You know, wasn't it nice and refreshing to see PJ was out here about an hour before the game talking to people? I mean, not uptight at all. He's really got his head on straight.
Seton Hall heads to the championship game with a dramatic comeback, putting away Duke 95-78. to Illinois or Michigan? We'll talk to some of the heroes in a moment.
6-topping Supreme Pizza from Pizza Hut. Get 1 medium for $9.99 or 2 for just $4 more.
Truckers, start your engines. Mazda, 2.6 liter, 121 horsepower. Toyota, 3 liter, 150 horsepower. Nissan, 3 liter, 145 horsepower. Chevrolet, 4.3 liter, 160 horsepower. S10, the most powerful compact pickup of the group. More power to get the job done.
Monday night, Seton Hall can become the first school from the state of New Jersey to win the national championship. The hottest thing to happen to the Garden State since Bruce Springsteen. And yes, Princeton was in the Final Four before, as was Rutgers, but they did not take home the big prize. And yes, this team was not entirely born in the USA, but Seton Hall, I can tell you, was born to run, and Monday night they'll have their shot to win the national championship. Let's talk about now the Chevy MVPs from this first game in the national semifinals. Darrell Walker for Seton Hall, 19 points and 6 rebounds. And Danny Ferry closes out his college career with 34 points. So let's go back down courtside with Brett Musburger. All right, Jim, thank you. And we're down here with P.J. Carlissimo and a gutty band of Seton Hall Pirates. P.J., down 18, any discouragement? How did you start to get it turned back?
I didn't do anything, Brent. These guys just started playing. I think Duke just took it to us early and did a great job, and we might have been a little tight, but that's not giving Duke their due. They came after us, and we didn't play as relaxed and as well as we could play. I think once the kids settled in defensively, we were okay.
Did you say anything to them as they came to the sideline and you gave them a little blow in the early going and they were tight?
No, we were tight. There was nothing you could say. It wasn't X's and O's. They knew they weren't playing. They just had to settle down and play.
Oh, I think you're too modest. Billy, you got some of the heroes over there.
Everybody wants to hear this Aussie talk a little bit. We've seen him shoot and score. Andrew, Brent and I were kidding. What would they like to see down there? Somebody win Wimbledon again? The Shark win the Masters? Or you take it all the way to the Final Four with a championship?
I think right now, I'm just so proud, and this is the first time a game's ever been televised back to Australia. And if I've had some part of that, it just makes me really happy.
Ramon, this has been some tournament for you. You played so well all year long. The stats have not been here, but everybody in your team seems to be picking it up. What is it about this ball club that they're pulling together so well?
Well, we're like a family. I think the team is so together right now that anybody can come up and do the job, and this team is like a family. It's unbelievable how well we feel against each other.
Well, it's good luck for you that these two guys bumped into each other, PJ. They're doing a pretty decent job. Gerald, great ball game for you.
Yeah, and also by Gerald here. He did some of those little things that got the Hall back in. Now they'll go back and have some more interviews and come out and see who's going to win the Illinois-Michigan game. We'll send you up to Jim Nance. All right, Brett, we know now that Championship Monday will be Big Monday. The Big East Seton Hall Pirates against the Big Ten winner coming up next. Michigan and Illinois. We'll continue from the Kingdome with more in just a moment.
We're here at the new Disney MGM Studios theme park for the premiere of the 1990 Chevy Lumina. The Lumina sedan has the most passenger room in its class. And coming later this year, the Lumina Coupe and the new Lumina all-purpose vehicle with optional seating for 7, no matter what your size. Introducing the family Lumina from today's Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America.
That's today's Chevrolet. Chevy Lumina, official car of the Disney MGM Studios theme park.
See you real soon.
Billy is just bad. He come under the viaduct with his Reeboks and his boys. They call him Showtime, and he is the show. Stays in the air just as long as he wants to. Once, he raised on Big Ten. I mean, straight up, and just hangs there. Then fires this sweet jumper, spreads his arms, and I believe he said, I shoot like a god, right in Tim's face.
When the new legends are made, they'll be wearing Reeboks. In the village of Upper Nyack, the firemen fight fires with ladders and hoses. And a Murata fax machine. It's used to receive floor plans and detailed drawings of buildings so they can plan how to attack the fire before they get to the fire. Murata fax machines.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good, you've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
GM makes the dream. GMAC makes the dream yours. Ask your GM dealer how custom-tailored Smart Lease helps you drive home a lot of new car or truck without tying up a lot of money.
The dreams of America, GMAC.
Monday night, Seton Hall will play for the national championship. You talk about turnarounds. With 8.5 minutes left in the first half, Duke led the Pirates by the score of 26-8. For the last 28-plus minutes of this ball game, Seton Hall outscored Duke 87-52, a 35-point turnaround. All right, after the game, just moments ago, our James Brown talked to the coach of the Duke Blue Devils, Mike Krzyzewski.
Coach, in the first half when your team was up by 18 and lost it down to about 5, were you really concerned given the deficit being cut like that?
Yeah, James, it was a disruptive game. You know, our bench helped us out to begin with, but they had to play more minutes. And in the foul trouble and Bricky's situation, it was a disruptive game for us. And then Seton Hall played great the last 30 minutes of the game, and they're physically stronger than we are, and especially today. With not having Robert there, and they took advantage of that. It was tough to score inside. They got us in foul trouble, and then just played outstanding basketball. They hit all their free throws. They beat us, and you know, I congratulate them. They were better than we were, and they're a very good basketball. I mean, a hell of a basketball team because they had about 9 kids playing well today.
And Duke has now been to 7 Final Fours without ever winning a national championship. That's more Final Four appearances without winning the grand prize than any other school in NCAA history. Okay, we told you at halftime of the Duke-Seton Hall game about Glenn Rice. The pulled hamstring in the left leg. Looks like he'll be just fine, however. He is, from what we understand, going to be playing in this game against Illinois in the second game of our national semifinals. There is Glenn Rice. He is warming up and apparently ready to go. In fact, when the Wolverines arrived at the Kingdome here just about an hour ago, our Bill Raftery had a chance to talk with Glenn Rice about this hamstring injury.
Feel pretty good. I'm ready to go. I think the guys, we're going to work real hard out here today.
Come too far to have the leg bother you.
That's true, and it's not going to bother me today.
So he will be back in playing for Michigan and Illinois. We are counting down at the Kingdome to Michigan and Illinois, and we will continue after this word from your local station.
United Airlines, from the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
This is the Augusta National, the only home the Masters has ever known. Its legacy is unique, from its inspiring clubhouse to the deceptive beauty of Amen Corner, to the legendary walk up number 18. I've been coming here for over 20 years. To me, it's a very special place. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
There's a lot of gossiping going on around campus. It's all about the Geo Metro from your Kern County Chevy dealers. The new way to get around. Maximum style, minimum price. It's America's #1 fuel economy car. And for tracking around the campus, the Geo Tracker is the all-weather off-road vehicle packaged for fun. Solid, smooth riding with independent front suspension, giving a wide stance for excellent stability, and there's plenty of room for all. The Geo line, perfect and economical from your Kern County Chevy dealers, where it all adds.
If your bank shuts you out at 3 o'clock, or 4 o'clock, or even 5 o'clock, walk into Wells Fargo. Our doors are now open from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, longer than any other major bank in California. So if your bank can't keep up with your banking needs, open your account with the bank that can. 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. Wells Fargo comes through again.